Andrea, go ahead and start explaining number 1.
So I put 1,000 in for P, and we put 8 equals P, 1 plus. No, I mean 1 plus R over A times.
Raised to the what?
Raised to the n times.
What?
Okay, so I put 1,000 in for P, since that's the index. That's how much I'm investing. And then I added 1 to 0.03, since that's the divided by 12 since it's 2,000. Then I got that answer, and then I multiplied 12 times 6 in the exponent. 12 times 3.
12 times 6.
12 times 6.
Yeah,
and I got 72. And then I raised 1.0025 to 72. Now I got 1.196. Now I multiplied it by 1,000, and then I got 8.
Good. Okay, so real quick, when you guys are putting, because you guys set these up really quickly, I noticed, when you guys are putting them in the calculator, that's where you guys start making mistakes. All right? So when you're putting it in the calculator, the first thing you do is divide. Then you add the 1. Then you take it to the power of 72, or whatever power you have, and then you multiply it by your principal. Okay? So, because if you try and do it all at once, it's going to give you an incorrect answer. Right? So do it step by step, because if you don't do the parentheses right, it will mess up. Right? So divide first, then you want to add it, then you take the power, and then you multiply it by your number. All right? So Corinne, explain number 2.
Okay, so I didn't write it step by step, but it's basically I divided 0.05 divided by 12. It's kind of hard to say.
Keep going. You're doing fine.
So I divided 0.05 divided by 12, and then I added 1, and then moved it to the power of 12. Yeah, to the power of 12 times 3, and then that's what it's 36, and then I multiplied that times 1,000 and got 1,167.47. So
1,100.
yeah.
Okay. That's not what you got? What did you get, Julian?
I got 1,154.55.
Alright, I'll check yours in a little bit, okay? It might have been a calculation. Remember I said you have to go step by step by step? There might have been a calculation error somewhere. Alright, number 3, Asia.
It's addition, so we use the logarithm to multiply. So it would be log 3, 4.5 times 2. And then you get log 3 to the log of base 3 and 9. And then I turn the 9 into 3 to the second power. And then the 3's cancel out, and then I got 2.
Good. Exactly. Alright, number 4.
Log 4, 32 minus log 2. It's subtraction. And I changed it to log 4, 16. And then I changed it again to log 4, 4 to the second power. Crossed out both equals and got 2.
Exactly. So she saw that the subtraction meant divide. 32 divided by 2 is 16. Log base 4 of 16. She changed 16 to 4 to the second power, right? And then log base 4 of 4 cancel each other out, and then you're left with 2. Any questions over these? Now we've got them. No?
All right. Today, as you all are aware, we're doing our debate about exponential functions. We will really be answering the essential question, which is how do exponential functions relate to the real world? Right? How do they relate to the real world? What's that? When you want to buy something, how else? You want to invest in something, right? Those are mainly the two ways, right? When you have to take out a loan to pay for something, or when you're investing money into an account. Today we'll be talking about loans, specifically colleges, and you will be debating for or against USC or UCLA. Okay? We have some expectations that we need to go over. Great, the first.
Every student will be placed into
Ben, number two. Thank you. Jaden,
Each team will have 30 minutes to create a presentation for what the options test.
thank you. Secretary.
the winning team will receive a pizza party on Friday during lunch.
You will also receive 10 points of extra credit on your test that will be graded this weekend. You can check school on Sunday night for your grades. Okay? Andrew, number 5.
Every student must turn in a completed worksheet at the end of the presentation. The worksheet will be graded as a test.
Thank you. Now, number 6.
Every student will receive a note card and is expected to write one talking point and one
Rebuttal.
That card will be stapled to your
Winning the argument. The score of the project will be graded in the following manner. Deanna?
Each time a new person speaks, the team will receive a check.
All right, just like last time we debated. Kenji, number 2.
Each time a valid point is made, that team will receive a point.
Thank you. Sorry.
Each time a team speaks out of turn, that team will lose a point.
Thank you. And yes.
Each time a team says something inappropriate, that team will lose a point.
Graham?
Each time a team crosses the line during the 30 minutes, that team will lose 2 points.
Yeah, the line is just straight down the middle of the classroom, right? Stay on your side so that you don't listen or cheat off of the other group. Right? We never have any issues with that. Now, what is a valid point? Okay? To make a valid point during an argument, a student should use one of the following, right? One or more. Academic language, mathematical reasoning, and accurate mathematics, right? So, an example is USC is a better financial decision because it is not possible to pay back the loan within the given parameters. The increase in interest rates, if the loan is not paid back in time, is greater at UCLA than at USC.
And that would count probably because that's a really well said point. I would probably give that team like 2 points for that one because they both said that it's a better financial decision because of the parameters. And then there was a second sentence where they talked about the increase in interest, right? So sometimes even though the person is saying a longer-winded point, I will give that person 2 points because they are saying something of substance.
Okay. And another example, a little shorter one. Considering the potential income for UCLA, it is not possible to pay back the loan until 20 or more years. Any questions? Okay. We made the 2 teams. I'm a little concerned because of attendance. We may need to move some people, but we'll see how the numbers look after we separate. So UCLA will be on this side, USC will be on the other side. Okay. And the teams are here for period 4. Once again, UCLA is over here, USC is over here. Okay, so find your name. UCLA is here, USC is there. Gather yourselves together, and then we'll pass out the information. Not yet. Okay. Look at the careers there.
Try that again.
Are those careers you want?
Let's try this again.
No.
So it's
It's all like
Yeah, so in our argument, someone please write this down. You should say something along the lines of, I don't want
Here,
to be
come here, sir. So you have to do this. Point 18 divided by 12
Not everybody wants to be.
is that, plus the 1 is there. We're taking it to the 60 now, there, right? And so n times t, and then multiply that times
But
this
you
one.
have is your argument there, so your argument is not invalid. Okay?
Is that supposed to be 0 or
On the front, we have the average salary, right? The average salary.
So that's how much it is after 5 years.
$1,400 more.
So write that down.
USC?
Yes. Which is also bad for us. But you know what you're talking about?
So then,
You're
how
not
much
going
is,
to be
so
average.
after 5 years, which one's cheaper?
Okay. You're going to make more than the average salary.
USC becomes cheaper all of a sudden because of that penalty, right?
Is this real?
Me and Sigmund made it. But the number, like
I
the
said
cost
that
and the
that's
like, the
an
cost of
average
going
salary.
and like the salaries and all that stuff, that's real. So people do pay this much money.
You can say that
People do pay this much money, and like, so that's why it's important to find different interest rates and like, right? Or like get some. What? How much time do we have, Sig?
we have 12 minutes.
All right, cool.
So that was.
All right, what's some of the next questions that we have? So let's answer some of these questions. So which college is better financial decision if you pay the loan off in time?
Listen, what I was saying is that
But
those
what's
average
the
salaries
fault
are
in that?
listed.
In that?
We're not going to be average.
Well, no, but I'm saying like, if we pay it off in time, if that's what they say, well, it's easier to pay it off in time, what would you guys say? But, what?
Got it?
Well, look at the monthly payment. That's when you bring the monthly payment in. So what would you say? Not that it's more, because USC's monthly payment's still more. But you can argue, and they said, well, in the short run, it's easier. What could you say? In the short run, UCLA is cheaper. But what could you say to that? But you're not going to be able to make much money, right? So you're not going to be able to pay off your
Another key point is that
right?
you do not want to.
So that's another point you can say. Yeah, Kenji, you have a point too.
20 years. Okay.
Okay.
Going on with their lives and not being stuck with student loans.
We're all going to say different stuff. Yeah, okay. Okay, and then it says, which has a more reasonable monthly
Our
payment?
goal as UCLA grads is to hire them quickly so that we don't.
Okay, so then how about this too? Okay, so then when they say, for USC,
We want to be.
I went to
out there
USC,
after
Sam went to UCLA. That's how
which
you're
means
supposed
we
to.
need to pay 3,000.
Okay, so like for data replacement, which one, and then you
It's a lot of money, right?
which is a more reasonable monthly
That's
payment to
okay.
make?
It's still $1,000.
Which one's more reasonable to make?
Right, so you can
This
say,
one or this one?
Yes, sir, but we can say
UCLA, but what if they said UCLA, what could we say?
$1,000
to that?
cheaper.
Not just that, but we also, what? USC, what? What did you say, Kenji? What did you say? Oh, well, if our monthly payment's higher, well, what else do we get more of? We get more money over the lifetime, right? So, right, so we could even say that, yes, our monthly payments are higher, but it's more likely that we'll be able to make our monthly payments than you guys would, because we're making.
We're saving $1,000 by choosing to UCLA.
Right. Like, if you even think about it to this, look, what's the difference between this? About 1,000, right?
So you
Even
USC
average
costs
starting salaries
$4,400.
are 1,000 different.
UCLA
See,
costs
51 to 50. So our monthly
UCLA
payments are
is
actually probably the same,
$1,000
considering what?
Oh.
No,
We save
Considering what?
$1,000.
Our salaries, yeah.
Every
So
month.
yes, the monthly payment's $1,000 more, but we're also making
Right.
significant more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the.
Okay.
you get the 20
What else?
years?
Which college is better financial decision if you do not pay off the loan?
Okay, what is it?
I mean, USC.
3020.
If we don't pay it off, right?
429.
Okay. So if we said in 10 years, if we had to pay this loan off in 10 years, how much do you think? Which one's
If we
better?
start incurring that interest,
USC. If we had to pay it off in 20
we're gonna
years.
get screwed.
Right, so these are all things you can say that. We could even say,
Okay?
Please
We're
watch
gonna
it
say,
around
we're gonna do that for 20 years.
Mr. Hill, courtroom
In 20 years, if you don't pay.
which is probably more likely to happen because of what?
That's
That much money, yeah. If it's that they can pay it off.
And that's our main.
Okay, so let's calculate that. Let's calculate their highest salary, and let's say, what's their highest salary? 100,000? Divide that by
And
12.
so, let's talk about this other scenario that I wrote in here about the Army, right?
Because then you can
Say
see
you
that
go to the
even
Army,
if you start off making
right?
$100,000, you divide it by 12.
Right? There's a bunch of professions, right, where they'll give you. Like this,
8,300
pay your student loans
right?
for
That's how much you're
concessions.
taking home a month. That's not without taxes. So you have to take off $2,000 off your taxes, minus 2,000, because that's how much you're probably taking off your taxes.
80%.
So how much are you taking home every month?
So 80% discount. at
Okay.
USC.
So that's more than what? Subtract that much?
Multiply this by 20%.
This one?
So
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, 7, and 7, multiply that by 0.2. And what do you get?
Okay. Now do it with do the same thing, but do it with 50,000. Okay, so we'll say, but your average salary is 50,000. Divide that by 12, so you can say that you're not going to make it. It's It's impossible. So you have to prove that with
And
using
you
that.
see that?
Okay, so the average salary, so.
Take 207, 100.47.
You have a talking point yet? I mean,
sorry.
Okay.
2011, so that's 5,000.
So some of you guys have like 2 or more talking points.
Oh, we can have that one. I have one already.
Okay.
I was trying to make sure.
Okay, so what else?
You still have that? That if they
So,
bring up,
now we
they
get that.
pay that there's monthly
What's
salary.
the difference there? Subtract that.
So what is it?
Oh, this is 2,156.
Okay. They can't. Okay. There's no way that they can make that payment because
They still have taxes.
they still have taxes. They still have. So someone needs to write that down.
If it's-
Some people need to eat.
Yeah.
Some people need to, live
That's
in a
how
place.
much after the salary.
So that's
we
their
say
salary divided by 12. So
$22,000
that's how much money
if
they're
you
making
go
every
into
month.
a more
So
rewarding
compare that with your monthly payment, right? Do you think that's going to happen?
You have to subtract taxes. You have to
I get
include.
a discount on my student loans. Or I choose to go into the military to serve my
So,
country.
so what you guys have to start thinking is like, as USC people, you're gonna be like, you know what? We know we're not gonna make our monthly payments. We're gonna go into penalty. But we also know you guys are gonna go.
Say that you want to choose a
Since we know you guys are gonna
get
get
back to
penalty.
your community.
We're
And then when you
we're not even worried because we know that in the end we're gonna have to pay less. Okay.
Brett, what do you want to do?
Can you choose one RV?
Brett, what do you want to do?
What if we pay lump sums off?
Where are we getting $100,000 from?
What if we put like this $100,000 before the interest rate? So what if we take off $100,000 off of this? How much would it cost?
And how
So
many
someone
years?
calculate that.
Either the 6,
So let's see how much it costs for each one.
10,
So someone calculate for you, say like take,
6,
so take away $100,000 off of the
That would
original.
be just 30.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So someone calculate it with
UCLA.
UCLA, and someone calculate it with USC.
That's just 39.
Uh-huh.
That came from.
$100,000.
He was like, it came from the paper.
Not 1,000, 100,000. It's just gonna be 3,908. Here, you calculate it. Jada. Can you do USC once you do it 100,000 off? So say like, okay, let's pretend USC gives you a $100,000 grant and UCLA gives you $100,000.
USC is,
Okay, so then use that number in that same first equation that we used. We can write it here too. It's fine.
Right?
someone's doing this one.
And then you can get
Is someone, I think she's doing USC. Is someone doing UCLA? You can do it too.
Or we could do.
Oh, you're doing it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm doing
We could
39,000.
also like live at home, right? And have no cost, right? So say you graduate high school and you live at home for a couple years, save that $100,000 up.
So what else can we talk about?
Right? And then you can.
Well, we took off
right?
one.
We took off 100,000.
What's mine, mine?
Huh?
Mine's around.
That same one, yeah. The same
That's
the
what I
same
did.
8% interest rate over 5
Right,
years.
that's savings anyway.
So 0.08 and divided by 12
I
to
don't
the
spend it.
5 times.
Material things.
Also, what's it?
So, how do we do this?
No, because not after the 5 years. It's before. What?
Yeah, so this will be 221.
Oh, because that's the last question. It says, say you choose to join the Army after graduation, you'll pay up to 80% of your loans. So the thing is, once you get into like who will pay what, right? Because if you look at the ending payment and the ending here, which one's cheaper? UCLA, right? So if you have the Army paying 80% of it, UCLA is still cheaper. So what the only thing that you're going to be able to like rebuttal with in that is like once you start getting discounts like 80% or something, you could just say, well, yeah, you still will pay less from UCLA, but we'll make more. So it doesn't. The difference is there isn't a reason. So getting a scholarship from the Army from UCLA or USC will change that because yes, you guys will end up paying less, but we'll get into paying more. Yeah, so it doesn't.
That's 3,000.
That's only for the Army, right? Okay, so then you calculate the UCL, the USC one. Oh, add another 100,000 to that because that's how much we took off. So we still pay that 100,000.
We can pay this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we should take it for the,
Even 48,000.
yeah, this is.
And you have.
What else can we talk about?
Exactly.
What other points can we make?
Right. Stay at home, live with your parents, save your money, that's not.
What do you guys know the difference between USC and UCLA in terms of schools? There are two,
That's extreme.
but one's private school and one's public school, right? Do you guys know what the difference is when you're talking about private and public schools? Private get to pay more, but what else? Not just, well, that's usually, it depends, but private schools tend to give you more.
So really, we ready?
I think so.
I think so too. And then we'll do a break and then.
Now
send
add
you
100,000.
the
Huh?
Send you the
Okay, cool. So that's something you guys want to think about.
Are we gonna get some
Private
food or
school,
something?
you're probably gonna get.
Yeah, you can.
Wait, today?
No, that's right.
Somebody can calculate that real quickly. But I'm guaranteed, probably gonna be UCLA because it's cheaper. Right? So you can run What did you guys both get? So if you pay the 100,000, right? No, it's still cheaper to go to UCLA. So that's the only thing we have going for us is the affordability.
This one. This one. All right. So, Mr. Tarula will be grading it. There will be no discussion about how this is graded. Okay. We will start with UCLA. So a minute for UCLA, a minute for USC, a minute for UCLA, a minute for USC. We will break for 5 minutes, okay, to recollect, and then you'll have another minute each to close it out. Okay? So, UCLA is on the clock. You may begin. Go ahead.
So, we choose UCLA because within 5 years, we have 5 years to pay our tuition back. And within 5 years, our cost is less than zero. So basically, and we wouldn't want to go over 5 years because obviously it's going to be more. But so we'll basically try harder to pay within those 5 years. And plus our cost is lower.
The more people who speak, the more points you get. And you don't get all the points. Yeah, everybody needs to talk.
Going with UCLA, we'll be able to pay our loan back quicker because it's $100,000 less than USC after 5 years. Going with UCLA, not everyone wants to be an engineer. The money that you guys are going to be earning,
That's good. Finish your point.
the money that you guys are going to be earning in the back are from engineer jobs, and not everyone wants to be an engineer. You know, you want to be a teacher or something like that. And if you are a teacher, you do get 80% off. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you. USC, go ahead. Go.
Alright, so you said yours is gonna be cheaper, but being that we are a private school, it's highly likely, like a definite fact that we're gonna get more money. So no matter how much higher ours are, our costs are, we're still gonna have money given to us from the school.
And also, at first, it is cheaper, but as you can see that when you go over, your interest rate goes higher. So we'll be paying less than you do, and it's not very likely for you to be able to make that your loan deadline because you are in college, and it's very it's not likely for you to make that loan. So you more than likely will go over.
You have to pay for food, sometimes you have to pay for
Taxes.
housing, your taxes, and just like recreational stuff too.
Realistically, you won't find a good part-time job while in college to pay off the monthly payment, as it's $3,451.67. So yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead.
That's a good point, but I think that we will be able to make our deadline. You know, no one wants to be paying college tuition after 10 and 20 years. We want to be on with our life, you know, pay it off in 5 years. I think if we have a job, maybe 10th grade, we'll be working a normal paying job for 7 years. After 7 years, we'll be making $672,000 after 7 years working a normal paying job. We'll also have family like moms and aunties helping us. We'll be able to pay $100,000 off, which means we only have to pay $107,000, and that's $100,000 less than you guys. And we will be able to pay our tuition off in 5 years.
And we love
Yes, can we get some more people over here, girls? Go ahead, Maria, 10
And we
seconds.
could live with our parents.
You don't have to pay for anything.
Yeah. It would cost less than living at school.
You can hit the lotto, anything can happen.
Okay, thank you.
Our opponents
Yes,
are
Steve.
speaking on
Go ahead,
stuff that's not like.
Steve. Okay.
Okay, so at the end of the day, we're both going into a penalty, like a 5-year penalty. If we don't pay our deadlines like on time, like we'll be paying them like in years. But everybody that's like in college or just getting out of college, they're not gonna have they're not guaranteed a job. So basically, they're not gonna have the money to pay off like your penalty. Your penalty is higher than ours. So they're not gonna be able to like just I'm just pay off my loans real quick because I have the money, because nobody's guaranteed like an actual stable job that the major that they study.
Your interest rate, if you don't pay it off in time, is going to be very high, and we can always not pay our loan in the first 5 years, but still be able to have a job and do everything we need to do and still get to pay it off. And by the time you do that, you're going to be in debt in millions, and we're going to be paid off because interest rate is 18%.
Okay. You get about 4 minutes, okay, to read through, and then we'll have at least one more round of the video. Okay? So, there's a couple things we haven't talked about. The
So, right, so that's something that we said, we need to talk about.
Yeah, the minus 100,000. But the other thing is that we haven't been very clear about how we're going to save that money. He said that we're going to save money, but he didn't say exactly what. He said exactly like, I'm going to do it alone. I'm going to save money. Therefore, I'll be able to pay it off. Right? Because they don't understand money. So he's not you're going to save some money, and then you can pay off your loan back. Right? You go to USC, the loan's going to be too big to pay off. Right? The other thing is that if you're going to the Army or you take a teaching job or something like that, you get loan forgiveness, right? Say they give you an 80% increase in your
And then also, what do we remember when we calculated how much money was left
you
over?
can save
Even if we look at the average.
a year.
You want to use those numbers behind you too. Because we really calculated how much money you make each month, and then subtracted the monthly loan.
If you start
Saving
saving
left
money,
over, you want to use those numbers to emphasize what you're trying to say. Because what you guys are saying is you're saying the right information, but you're not having the information, the hard numbers behind it to back you up. You don't have to, but you can know that you can make that statement. And then also, okay, so the money over a lifetime.
Right?
So
So
about
how
how much you're making each month, and the reality of paying it off in 5 years. Really should be top.
Lynn and Nyla, you guys
Anything else that we should bank on?
get an automatic point just for talking.
You could even say something like that. You could say something like, people get their car repoed all the time, but they can't even pay off a lot cheaper of a loan than something like that, right? Well, who hasn't spoke? So make sure you guys get somebody who hasn't spoke to say.
He said it was more money. And then you saying it'll cost us for saving, and then I think that would save more than
And so what are you guys going to say when they start bringing in all that extra stuff too? Like on the back home, or
We can
on
say
the lotto, or like, so what do you say about it?
You never know if it's
Not for this. You can say
and then you not spending any money. You never know.
So I think that's something too, is you might say that
You save 160.
in the real world, yeah, you can always, you may depend on it. If you lean on people, yeah, but in the same token, you can, that, all of that stuff can fall right under you, right? So what's something that you need to consider, you guys consider, when you guys are talking about your own finances, right? So, right, you don't want to rely on your family and stuff, because when you start relying on family and things to make financial decisions in your life, those things can come right under you, right?
Let's go
So that's
through.
important.
Never.
All right, USC will start first this time. USC will start first this time.
Okay, so the penalty fee for UCLA is not better than USC because our price is really high, and after 5 years, our cost is lower. And our monthly payment might be higher, but we're making more money. In 10 or 20 years, we still will make more money, so you can do it.
And of course, on the course of a lifetime, let's say about 50 years, like going down to your career, coming out, going to retirement, you'll be making about $6,126,000, and that's far by more than the UCLA highest paid salary.
Over 20 years, USC will have 489,500, and $6.33 for UCLA is less. It's $377,078.70. But since we make more through years, then we'll have a higher chance of paying our local over 10 years.
Okay, so you guys keep mentioning that you guys are making more money, but you guys are forgetting that we don't want to be an engineer or a mechanic or any of that. Like there's different jobs out there that people want to dedicate their lives to. Like, okay,
You guys also said that what we have is like, hey, we won't be able to pay it off, but if it was someone like me, I already have a job, and plus I stay with my mom. If I was going to college and working, she'll let me stay with her. She'll be paying for shelter and food. If I was working for 7 years, I would have racked my money up from senior all the way until graduation. I would have made $400 every 2 weeks working part-time, which is $800 a month, and $9,600 a year. After 7 years, I would have saved up $600,200. I also have my grandmother and uncles, aunties, all can give me money, and I'll be down only $100,000, while you guys have to pay $300,000. And we're going to be off in 5 years. We would have been moved on with our lives, while you guys are trying to pay everything off in 10 years.
You guys are still in debt.
All right, we're going to go again. Go ahead. Hold on. Go ahead.
Okay, so you mentioned that you guys want to be engineers and stuff. We have a former USC student that went to USC. He's a teacher now, so you really don't have to go into engineering if you want to. And then also you mentioned that you might live with your mom. All this sheltering your mom, uncle stuff, that might fall under you at the end of the day because due to like economic hardship like within this community and economic uncertainties, like that's not gonna help you. That's not gonna help you. And then that's not gonna last basically. And then also like with these loans, like I'm telling you, people is not gonna pay off these loans like when you're in college or when you straight out of college because you're not guaranteed a job.
So grow up.
Some people are still paying for cars, so it's going to be very hard to pay for a college education.
Most people can't even pay off their car note in 5 years, let alone
College.
multi-thousand.
And then also with the, can we go to the Army right now?
Sure.
Okay, so the Army, it's not a net difference. If the Army pays, if the Army pays 80%, at the end of the day, yes, you guys are gonna be paying less, but we're making more money at the end.
Okay.
We think a long term.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Okay, so you said y'all have a former USC teacher, which it says teachers get 80% discount. So basically, we'll have a 22,936 difference. And you guys, so basically, we can pay ours faster because obviously the
price.
And some people like me, my mom, she's a
And what if
real
we-
estate agent.
Yeah, like, okay, you said, and like people around here, like, in our community or something, like people, why, just because we live around here doesn't mean, what if we marry rich, like, right after college? What if we marry rich and get money? Or what if we have a job since, like, we were younger, and then we get to manage, and then we get money. So if we say, so say, most likely UCLA students will try and pay the original price within the 5 years instead of going over 10. Going over
7,000.
How, okay,
Okay, hold on.
and plus the percent.
Everybody but mama.
It's really close.
You wanna go, you guys have more to say?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
we
what
do.
I mean, it's gonna be, I think at this point it's gonna be very similar.
I just feel like, can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just feel like, where is all this coming from? Where is all this guarantee that all this getting rich, marrying whatever?
Auntie,
Like, who really
Valerie,
thinks, who really thinks?
Well,
in a debate,
Brent's
yeah.
point is
I be
that
making some true factual statements here. You got money, engineering. Who wants to y'all gonna be engineers?
Okay, what if I go to UCLA and then what if I do have a job, but then I'm not paying for food, none of that, I'm living with my mama. All that money that I would save up.
Like I said, you do this.
So what if I get a job and
People are
then
on
I'm
Section
getting
8.
paid?
all these what ifs.
And you can
All
people on
these
your
what ifs.
company section.
Okay, but you all this what
Yeah,
if,
hold
so
on,
I said,
guys,
what
hold
if
on, wait.
y'all
Andrea,
y'all don't
Maria wants,
pay?
hold on, wait. Maria wants to say something.
So I know UC is dealing with all those guarantees, but like you said it multiple times in your rebuttals. There is no guarantee for a college student to get a job after college. So how are you so confident of paying back your loans when you aren't guaranteed just because you're a private college?
10, 20 years.
Maria, point on that.
Slow down.
Even if we both
And
don't get a job,
Asia,
then that.
hold on. We're gonna go back.
You want to go one more? Okay, and then I think it should be a closing.
They went first last time.
Hey, that really does.
What you're gonna do now,
Go first.
Go ahead.
You said the best for last.
what you're gonna do is, you're gonna come up with a closing statement, okay? So, girls, what we're gonna do is, you're gonna come up with your key points that you wanna state at the end, which makes you clearly better than the other, okay? You have 2 minutes to come up with your best, probably 3 or 4 statements, okay? What are we thinking?
You see that, we only have to raise,
And that's even without looking at the job.
they have to pay $3 million.
Exactly, that's without looking at even if you have a job.
And in 28 you gotta have an apartment or a house.
And I think one cool thing you can always just say is, we're just looking at our numbers here.
Okay,
So, none of us are guaranteed anything, right? None of us are, but if we don't look at anything, what is the wisest financial decision to make, right? Because you don't know what's happening on the real world. Right now, this is a weird, just looking at numbers. So you want to use that too, like, even with everything else, how do we make the best decision for us using the numbers that we have in front of us?
More likely than big.
So I think that's that's the thing that is important.
You should write.
So, but that's not the only thing, right? So you want to, like when you're making an argument, you have to start it off right.
You can say like, so,
The reason why you're right,
we can flip
like you want to make sure you emphasize like the monthly payments, right? You want to emphasize why it's cheaper because I'm never going to be able to make it unless I'm here. I'm that you want to bring in, even though nothing is guaranteed, what will you do? Right? Yeah, so you only have
she's
information.
saying, since she said that, we'll
I
get
think
more
that's
grants.
something. And then Kenji, you said you wanted to bring, I was also still bringing the 10 years thing too, right?
Yeah, we need more numbers too, we're not using
Therefore, it'll be easier for us to pay it back.
Even if they get the same amount, our
Right?
costs will
So
still
that would be good.
So make sure you know who's gonna, I would even popcorn it, so that you guys could,
Yes, absolutely. That's how,
so get as many points as you are, so who's gonna say what percentage?
You ready? Yeah?
That's not.
You ready?
We have to pay back.
Ready?
You ready?
They got
All right, let's go. UCLA, you have a minute. Go. Go.
Okay, so in your last rebuttal, you were talking about how we're a poor community, right, and how it's an issue where that's how it'll contribute to how we're unable to pay our loans. If we're a poor community, then that means we have a greater chance of getting offers for grants and stuff. Therefore, our cost, which is already lower than yours, would be lower than it is now. Would be lower because of our grants that we are granted. It's Crenshaw. As you notice, Crenshaw has a lot of opportunities throughout each magnet. So when we do go to college, we will be able to pay it off because we have money granted to us.
And working a minimum job for 7 years part-time, like I said, you're earning $67,000 plus people like me who are ambitious, who have a business on the side. After 7 years, we could make $20,000 if that, even more. It's nothing but time to save up money. You guys earn more money as an engineer, but not everyone at USC wants to be an engineer. People are going to get into other things. Not everyone's going to be making all that money.
Everybody can't do the same job.
What about other people with like related to what you were saying? What about people that don't want to be an engineer? What kind of chance, opportunity would they have to pay back? So basically, this gun, this don't.
That's good.
Okay.
All right. USC, take it away.
Okay, we're not gonna look at what if, we're not gonna look at what if my mom pays my tuition, we're not gonna look at what if they give me loans, we're gonna look at numbers. So looking at the numbers here, we see that after the 5-year penalty, we have, you guys, we have to pay $434,055, you guys have to pay $5,991. So we're just looking at the numbers because we have to go in the real world, we don't know what's gonna happen in the real world, somebody could die, we don't know.
And you
So
never
looking at
know
the
what can
numbers,
happen.
we see that you guys have to pay more than us.
You can never find a job.
That's why
You can never find a job and end up broke, and then after 20 years, you're going to be in debt 3.5 million, and then we're only going to have to pay a quarter of what you have to pay, and so USC is better in the long run.
Okay.
We just trying to make a wise financial decision, and ours is the best.
All right. That's good. Any last points there?
They did start talking, so I don't know if you wanted to count it, but USC has one more point.
USC won?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to say that both teams did a very good
This
job.
one was really good.
Yeah, both teams did a very good job. Unfortunately, USC won. You guys have a pizza party. You have a group quiz.